This is the funny circular thing that we're ready to say to you finally. We want you to not care about the manifestation so you can get better manifestations. Isn't that screwy?
Yeah.
That's sort of where everyone is. So, okay, I get it, Abraham. I have to ignore these manifestations, trusting that I put all kinds of good stuff in my vortex that I can't get to as long as I'm looking at these manifestations. But if I can get into the vortex, then the vortex will affect the manifestations. So what are we saying? What we're saying is you're supposed to have really good manifestations. We're saying it's perfectly brilliant and wonderful to look at everything that is pleasing you and use it as your basis of vibration. We're not trying to separate you from your reality, from your manifested reality. We're trying to help you create a pleasing manifested reality. So what are we really saying? Just don't look at the stuff that doesn't feel good. When you look into what is, and you're looking at the birds, and you're looking at the ocean, and you're looking at the beautiful sky, and you're looking at the magnificent world you are living in, and you're looking at the beautiful people, and looking at the beautiful children, and listening to the comedy and the music and all of the wonderful things that surround you, you're looking at manifestations, and you're utilizing manifestations to align you with the vortex. In other words, this is the thing that we really want you to hear. We're not off in Never Never Land. We're not sitting on the clouds with our feet dangling over the edge. We're not some nebulous mist. We are involved in every intricate detail of your delicious manifestations. That's why they feel so good to you. We're right there listening to your beautiful melodies, listening to the rapture in your heart. We're right there with you in your orgasms. We're right there with you in your taste buds when you're eating all of that delicious food. We're right there with you, right there with you, right there with you. We're not trying to get you to be other than this manifested genius out here on the leading edge that you are. We're not trying to separate you from that. We want you to be that. We just want you to spend less time in the contrasting parts that are depriving you then of the manifestation that is coming. Is that clear? Vortex first, then manifestation follows. Vortex first, then manifestation follows. So if we were standing in your physical shoes, we would be milking our current reality for every delicious thing that we could focus upon. We would be making lists of positive aspects. We would be doing rampages of appreciation. We would be doing anything and everything that we could do to extract a keen awareness, a sharp, specific awareness in ourselves right here, right now, of the beauty of that which is. But if we find ourselves in a moment where the beauty isn't dominant, where the beauty isn't compelling, where the beauty isn't even seeable because of what we are focused upon, then we would not try to wring it from the manifestation. We would instead find our way into the vortex, the emotion of feeling, knowing that if you can do that, that the vortex will then give you immediately a more pleasing manifestation. And at first, the manifestation will be emotion. Next, it will be trains of thoughts will begin to come. Ideas, inspiration. Next, it will be others collaborating. Next, it will be heaven and earth moving to accommodate you in whatever you want. In other words, there's no limit to the details that manifestations will bring. So that leads us to what we talked about just before segment of refreshment that we were really wanting to talk about. Because every moment that you are conscious, you have this abiding awareness, you cannot get away from it, of your relationship between who you really are and all that you've become and how much you're letting in. In other words, in every moment you're having a manifestational emotion, an emotion that is a manifestation in every moment. If you're bored, it's a manifestation and it's telling you about this relationship. If you're excited, it's a manifestation in this moment that's telling you about this relationship. If you're fearful, it's a manifestation that's telling you about this relationship. In other words, you can't stop having a feeling, can you? Isn't something that you say constantly how I feel? Well, I feel this or I feel that. Aren't you aware of how you feel? I feel tired. I feel happy. I feel bored. I feel hungry. Well, hungry, that's a little different. I feel these emotions. I feel all day long. I feel bored at work. I feel uninspired at work. I feel inspired. I feel happy. I feel happy in talking to you. I feel unhappy in talking to you. I feel frustrated in this conversation. I feel exhilarated in this conversation. I feel. You do. You're feeling. You're having those feeling manifestations all day, every day. All day, every moment that you are conscious, you're having this awareness of this relationship, this vibrational relationship. So when you get it, that this manifestation is happening constantly, and that you have much more leeway and latitude in how you feel than just observing what is, now you've got it. Now you're free. So let's chew on this just a little bit. What do you think your overall feeling is about being engaged in that co-creative dance, as you said, at graduate school or in school? And we're just going to ask you some questions just to flesh that out. Do you feel eager and excited about the life that is before you?
Yeah.
So your balance is so in place that probing around in stuff, even if it's current events, is not big enough in relationship to how you feel about life that it's going to be too unsettling to you, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
So as you're exploring all of these things and talking about the things that you were talking about, social injustices or things in the world that aren't working as well as you would like them to, still your optimism is so supreme because you largely know that you're here for improvement. And so poking around in the problem is known by the whole of you as part of the improvement process, part of the joyous creative process. So the emphasis that you feel, the majority of what you feel, is the aliveness, the social interaction, the co-creative dance, the brilliant minds coming together, the insights that are occurring to you. Your inner being, here's a good way of saying it, your inner being will come to the party, will come to the debate and make you brilliant, even if you're talking about the side of the proposition that you don't want to support.
Totally.
Isn't it interesting? Because that's the game you're playing. In other words, in this game, I'm going to take this discussion to a whole new level, and I'm going to make them see something that they've never seen before, and I have the resources to do that. In other words, my inner being, does that mean, yes, we're having a little party here on our own. Does that mean that my inner being would actually help me in the promotion of a step one moment?
Yeah.
Would it? Would your inner being actually help you to get clearer about what you don't want as in a debate so that you can give birth to what you do want? Really? Now, we haven't been there before, have we? In other words, this manifestation, this fullness of who you all are. In other words, this whole conversation is you can't get it wrong and you never get it done. And as long as you're feeling mostly fun and joy about what you're doing, then keep doing it that way, you see.
Totally.
We don't ever want you to say, oh, I study this spiritual stuff.
Yeah.
Which means it's like being a vegan. We love you very much. But you're so pure about what you eat, you're not eating anything that tastes good. And we don't want you to be such a purist in your thoughts that you're isolating yourself off into this corner where I'm a spiritual person, and so I should not be having that thought. And we say, a lot of those thoughts lead to other thoughts and other thoughts. It's like saying I'm an artist and I will deprive myself of most of the mediums that are available to me because I disapprove of them in this way and this way and this way and this way. And we say, then you're going to miss out on a lot of the delicious, magnificent things that you will be creating if you deprive yourself of the resources of creation. Well, there's no risk to you emotionally or vibrationally, but there are better feeling things for you to spend your time focusing upon.
Totally.
And you are not in any way turning your back on something or not offering service. When to offer service in one way rather than another is still part of the uplifter that you are. There's a tendency to think that I should do it. And the question always should be, do I want to do it? And the reason that do I want to do it is such a good question is because your inner being has very strong opinions about what is wanted by you, because you've been putting the pieces of it over there into your vortex, and your inner being stands as the full knower of what you want to do. So if you are letting your desire lead you, and so it led you to that, but it will lead you beyond that, and it will lead you beyond that, and it will lead you beyond that, and it will lead you beyond that. You can't stand still very long anywhere because your expansion is rapid.
Totally.
Yes. This is what I've come to. It adds the appropriate importance to the bigness that is you, while bringing all of the richness and resources and support and purity and goodness that is also you. When we say the leading edge, we're not kidding. Consider this. We think that this is part of what you're reaching for, maybe all of it. So let's start with the premise. It is law-based and factual, that vibration precedes manifestation. So here you are, manifested, thinking. We really liked the vivid imagery of the debating and the co-creating and all of the power and fun around all of that. So here you are having this wonderful physical experience, and out of it is being born leading edge vibration that will then lead to leading edge manifestation. So it really is non-physical, reaching forward with thought, and then you manifesting. Non-physical, still reaching forward with thought in the exploration of contrast. Let's just keep blurring those lines between non-physical and physical, because they must be blurred, because there is no separation that is meaningful. The reason that we've been speaking through all these years in all these ways about the separation is because humans think thoughts that don't serve them.
Yeah.
That's the only reason. That's the only reason that any separation ever exists. And the reason that humans think thoughts that don't serve them is because you are so avidly determined to explore all the contrast, put it into piles, and be grateful for overcoming it. Put it into piles and explore it and compare it and use it as your justification for the good life that you innately know you should be living, but somehow you've gotten crossways of. So are we aligned in the idea that this manifestation of you is the leading edge? And are we aligned in the idea that at your best feeling moments, the wholeness of who you are is here, when you are aligned with Source, and therefore seeing the world through your alignment with Source? Now everyone appears to you in your translation of life as they appear to Source, and now no matter which side of the debate you're on, you're loving them. Because if they didn't know, if they didn't set their proposition in motion, and if they didn't hold it with the power and conviction that they do, they wouldn't extract from you the resourcefulness that they've extracted. And the better they are at that, the better you are at that. And the better you are at the conversation, the better you feel. Isn't life all sort of like that? Isn't that just the way it is? Isn't it always a debate? Isn't it always a comparison of experience? Isn't it always a consideration of different perspectives? And isn't it all for the delicious experience of getting to create something that's even better than it was before? We love presenting to you the things that we've talked about here today. And it is so satisfying to feel you come along with us. We have these leading edge discussions, and it's remarkable how often that we will be in a place that no one on this planet has ever been before, and you'll all be right there with us on the leading edge, because you've already tuned yourself to the Source within you. So when we discover it together, we're all right there, right there, right there. You know that, don't you? We have enjoyed this interaction more than words can convey. You are doing extremely well. Go general for a while. Go general, go general, go general, until you establish your real connection with this powerful Source. And then witness the details beginning to fill in, and then describe them and revel in them and focus on them for the purpose of bringing it into more specifics. And then take the bounce from that and be more specific and more specific. If we were standing in your physical shoes, there are two things that we would do deliberately all day, every day. We would appreciate every time it is easy, for as long as it is easy. And in the moment that it stops being easy, we would go general. There is great love here for you. And as always, we remain specifically in the vortex.